Good tea right there. Yeah. I need to update that starting soon screen. I'm going to change it based on the seasons. So, spring. Well, technically it is still spring. It's not June 21st yet. Wait, is it June 21st or June 22nd? Hold on. Oh, no, it's June... Wait, hold on. Oh, no, it's June 20th. It's tomorrow. That's the last day. Today's the last day I can actually use that. Okay, cool. So it's, yeah, that's the spring starting soon screen because Byakuya, of course, with the mighty cherry blossoms fluttering down from above that are actually razor blades that'll shred you into a million pieces. Yeah, that's actually the last day of spring is today. Okay, cool. So tomorrow we're going into summer. Natsu. Yeah, Natsu. That's the origin of the name Natsu from Fairy Tail. There you go. You start to learn Japanese, even like basic Japanese, and then you start to realize, like, oh, that's why that anime character has that name. Like, well, I knew this beforehand, but Izuku Midoriya from, you know, My Hero Academia, his hair is green and his last name is Midori is, you know, green in Japanese. So it's like, ah, I get it. Okay. Nice Bojack Horseman references during the review. You know, Bojack Horseman is one of those shows that has been around forever, and not forever, yeah, since the dawn of time, Bojack Horseman. No, it's been with us since the very beginning, but it's been around for a while, and I have a lot of friends that watched it and talked about it. You know, my one friend was a huge fan of Bojack Horseman, and he watched the finale, and he liked it. I have just started to watch a few episodes of Bojack Horseman. The one that he recommended was the churro episode, and he gave me no context on what it was about or anything. He just, like, watched the episode where he gets the free churro. And so I literally just look up Bojack Horseman episode, and there's the episode is just titled Free Churro, and I'm like, all right, I guess that's the one. So I clicked it, and I watched it, and I think I get the vibe of that show now. I think after just that one episode, I get the vibe. But yeah, Shanks is Zebek's son. Well, I mean, the timeline would sync up, except Shanks was from the West Blue. So I don't know, we don't really know anything about Rox if he was born in the West, but if he was, that's something there. How do you feel about the pronunciation of that, by the way? Zebek or Zebek? Because in the anime, they say Zebek. And just, you know, I guess that might be how it's actually pronounced. X's are weird when it comes to pronunciation, you know, like xylophone, X-ray, which X-ray, yeah, that's completely different. Zebek. I'm trying to think, is there any other X words? Xylophone, X-ray. What are other words that start with the letter X? Crap, I'm kind of out of I've already hit the rock bottom there on that one. Let's see. Will you record any video games? Maybe when I get a better setup with, like, an actual chair. I was in a furniture store yesterday looking at stuff, and there was, like, a gaming chair, and I was sitting down in it, and I'm like, oh, wow, this actually gives me back support. That's crazy. But we'll see where this goes. Xenomorph. Xenomorph is good. Xenoverse. So Xenoverse, I always say it Xenoverse. Also, Professor Zeno, Dr. Zeno from Dr. Stone, there's an idea. Oh yeah, it's Juneteenth today too. Yeah, happy Juneteenth, everybody. 18, okay, so the Emancipation Proclamation was in 1865, and I think that's when the first celebration happened, but I think it was 1866 when Juneteenth was an actual holiday. But even then, I think it took a while for it to catch on throughout the entire United States. I think it actually started in Texas, if I'm remembering correctly. It was like a thing that was like a big celebration in this one area of Texas, like Galveston, Texas, I think. And then it just, you know, over the years began to expand. And then here we are today. So happy Juneteenth, which is also the last day of spring. So it all, yeah, there you go. And then tomorrow's summer. Yay. Please look up One Piece, Ship of Fools. I get this a lot. It's a big fan fiction thing, apparently. I don't really know the whole plot of it. I think the plot of it is like, I don't know if it's like different characters from anime all joining the Straw Hats, or if it's like all fan fiction from the beginning. I'm not sure. But yeah. Happy Juneteenth. Yep. Tekking, will you talk about the Gold no Mi and the Gasha no Mi? I already kind of talked about the Gasha no Mi when I did Bullet's video. I never really made a whole video about Tesoro or the Gold fruit, but that would be a good one, because his was a Logia. Wait, no. Shit. No, it wasn't a Logia. It was like Katakuri's, right? It was like a special paramecia, but he awakened it. Was it a Logia? I don't remember. See, the movies are weird because it's just like, yeah, he has the gold fruit. He controls gold. I'm like, all right, is it a paramecia or a special paramecia? Look, yeah, he controls gold. I'm like, all right, fine, he controls gold. Dang. Yeah. Another stream. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep these on Saturday. Happy Juneteenth. Yeah, there you go. You know, that just happened to sync up perfectly then, you know, because we got a holiday today. Tekking stream while doing the dishes. Let's go! Wash those dishes, random person! Yeah. I remember having to wash dishes. It sucked. We got a dishwasher when I was like 23, 24. We got a dishwasher, and I can never go back now. I can never go back. We had nothing. Like, it takes us a while in this house to get like where like it took us until 2008 to get like decent internet. Like, we had dial-up internet up until freaking 2008, and we had to wash our own dishes up until like 2016. When my mom's boyfriend Jim, he was remodeling the kitchen, and he was like, hey, you guys need a dishwasher. And we're just like, me and my mom were like, can we have one? Is that feasible? And he's like, yeah. He's like, okay. So we put one in, and I'm like, oh my god, it's magic! It's magic! You can like cook, and you have a bunch of dirty dishes, and you can just throw it in a magic cabinet and then pour some soap in there, and it magically, it's incredible. I'm so happy. You know? But yeah, what's the topic of today's stream? Whatever the topic of today's stream is, we just roll with it, you know? Yeah. Hey, do not get a game chair. All of them will break. Okay, I will say this. I was sitting in the game chair yesterday, and it was one of the, like, you know, like the one that has the pillow up here and then the thing on the bottom for, like, lumbar support or whatever. And I'm sitting in the chair, and I'm like, okay. I mean, it doesn't feel bad or anything, but it kind of feels like it's not me. You know, the chair, like, I just don't see myself sitting in a gaming chair. You know, I have this other chair that I want to buy. It's just like a really soft, like, office chair. I'm probably just going to get that one, you know. Hey, Tekking, love the content, but I have a question. What do you think of Gear 5? Is it time? And so will it be when Luffy versus Kaido? And keep up the One Piece content on YouTube. Thank you. Love from Sweden. Sweden! All right, yeah, so, yeah, Gear 5th or Gear 5, whatever you want to call it. You know what, like, I have a feeling that's going to be Luffy's awakening. I don't think it's going to be right now against Kaido. I feel like, there's an upper limit of gears that Luffy is going to use, right? Like, he's not going to get to, like, Gear 10 or whatever. I mean, maybe he will, but I doubt it. So what's the upper number here? You could either say Luffy develops Gear 5th while he's fighting Kaido right now, and then maybe there'll be another thing, because I think like his final gear will be his awakening. So let's just start with that, all right? So I don't think he's going to awaken right now. If he does awaken, I feel like that'll be the final stage of the story, where he's fighting against Blackbeard, you know, the war for the One Piece, or whatever the hell you want to say. I think it's going to be something like that. And so if he does do Gear 5th against Kaido, it won't be the awakening, so it'll be something else. I'm not really sure what it could be. Because all of the gears are predicated on him modifying part of his internal structure in some way. So with Gear 2nd, he pumps his legs to get his blood flowing faster, you know, his heart and his, like, cardiovascular system. And then with Gear 3rd, it's his skeletal system. And then with Gear 4th, it's his muscular system, okay? So if that's, like, the basic, like, fundamental aspect of a gear, what else could he inflate? You know what I mean? Like, he's starting to run out of systems in his body here, right? You know, unless I did see some artwork of Luffy, expanding his brain, like Gear 5th, and he turns into Megamind, basically. That was a pretty funny one. I saw that. I saw some fan art of that. What about Overgeared? I don't know. Have you ever read Mare? Yeah, Mare is probably one of, if not my favorite isekai. It's probably the first isekai I ever really... Well, okay, does Digimon Adventures count as an isekai? I feel like it has to. So I guess Digimon was probably my first isekai that I watched, although I didn't know they were called isekais back then. You know, so I would say Mare was my second, because I watched it on Toonami back in, like, 2005, 2006, and they didn't even dub the whole series, and you can't even find like really good quality like video of it anymore because it like, you know, nobody really cares about Mare, but I liked it. It was a good series. Have you read Record of Ragnarok? And if so, who's your favorite fight so far? Mine was Heracles versus Jack the Ripper. Okay. I literally just started watching this on Netflix. Like, right before I did this, I finished episode 4 of, or I was 4 or 5. It was the episode where Thor and the Lu Bu fight ends. That was the last episode I just finished watching like 15 minutes ago. Okay? So, I'm liking it so far. And I get why all the hype is there. I understand, because it's just like, yeah, let's get the gods to fight against the strongest humans of mankind. Boom, boom, beam! You know, like, that's what it's all about, right? You know, the only thing is I was watching it, and as I watch more of this, I'm a little bit more perplexed by the world that it creates. You know, like it's just a world where all of the gods of mythology are one, like they all exist, and they all gather together at Valhalla to have like a big meeting. And the gods are all under a democracy, apparently, because they all have to vote on various things. And I'm sitting there like, and I love mythology, right? And I'm sitting there like, I want to know more about this world. I want to know how this works, you know? And it's just like, that's not really what this is about. It's about, boom, boom, fight, you know? And I'm like, all right, I'll sit back and watch the fights, because they're pretty goddamn epic. But I'm like, I would like there to be more like depth to this at certain points, but whatever. All right, I'll sit here and watch the fights. Oh man, yes, Aphrodite. Yes, Aphrodite. Just, I don't even have to describe it. Just go watch Record of Ragnarok. Aphrodite, goddess of plenty. There you go. Yeah. So let's see here. Yeah, it's not based on real myth. Yeah, no duh. No duh. Because, well, so for the longest time, people were just sending me messages like, hey, you need to, you know, you like mythology, you need to watch Record of Ragnarok or read Record of Ragnarok, because it just came out on Netflix a little while ago, like I think only a few days ago it came out on the anime. So it's like, you need to read Record of Ragnarok, you'll love it, it's all about, you know, anime, I mean, it's all about mythology and stuff in anime. And I started watching it, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't like, I mean, loosely based, of course. Like, Thor is there, and Thor is, of course, he's still the god of thunder and everything. He still has a giant hammer. But when it comes to, like, what the nature of the hammer is and what Thor, like, looks like and his personality and stuff, like, that stuff's, you know, they're not gonna go with that 100%. And then there's the historical figures, so, like, Lu Bu, who is a Chinese general, you know, during, like, I think he died at, like, 200 AD or something. And so that was really cool, you know, but then they show the flashbacks of him, like, slicing the sky apart, and I'm like, I don't think this is historically accurate. All right, whatever, I'll just turn off the mythology historical side of my brain and just watch them beat the ever-loving shit out of each other for 3 episodes. All right, that's pretty good. Oh, it's good. You'll like it, yeah. It's pretty damn epic, yeah. Oh, man, it just, I'm watching it, like, there's so many questions I have, though. Have I seen Invincible? Yeah, I watched Invincible a couple months back when it first came out. It was really good. And I don't usually get into series when they're really big, like when everybody's talking about them. Usually everybody will talk about a series, and then I'll be like, whatever. And then I'll go away for, like, 6 months, and then I'll finally get around to watching it. I actually just did that with The Queen's Gambit. Anybody watch The Queen's Gambit? I just finished that up. I finished The Queen's Gambit up yesterday morning, and then immediately after that, I'm like, all right, what else is on Netflix? Oh, Record of Ragnarok. So it's like, you know, a drama about chess going from like, yes, Thor, fight against Lu Bu. I'm like, all right, yeah, let's do that. So I remember everybody was talking about The Queen's Gambit I think it came out last fall. So that's when everyone was like losing it over that, and everyone was playing chess back then and everything. And I started watching this now, and I'm like, oh, all right, cool. Yeah. Romance of the Three Kingdoms. And, like, this is perfect, because last stream I did, I was talking about how I just finished reading about Egyptian history, and I was interested in reading about Chinese history next. Well, if apparently there was a man that could slice the sky apart in ancient China, so I better start reading about this, yeah? I haven't got any books yet. I have to go to the bookstore and get some stuff. I haven't been there in a while. I'll get some books on Chinese history and start reading about that, because that has been something that I've been really interested in for a while. Because there's so much about Japanese history, and obviously Japanese history came after Chinese history, and so there's so much of it that's connected to China, and so a lot of it is like, okay, you don't really need to understand the full story here for Japanese history or Japanese mythology, but just understand it does connect back to Chinese. So I'm like, all right, and I just like, over the years of reading all about like Japanese lore and like, you know, the gods and everything, gods and goddesses in Japan, I'm just like, it always kind of like, okay, this is maybe rooted in Chinese lore. So if you want the full picture, you kind of have to understand that too. And I'm like, all right, I'll get to it someday. And then I think I'm finally going to start, you know, reading about that. What do you think of the final fight between being Marineford 2, as Marineford is in the New World now? Well, that would be cool. I don't think Oda's gonna like redo the same thing again, though. You know, like, all right, well, we had Marineford in the first half of the Grand Line in Paradise. Now let's have the New World Marineford, Marineford 2. This time it's personal. The epic rematch. We're gonna take Ace's corpse, reanimate it with the Kage no Mi, and he's gonna fight with Akainu. The rematch beyond life and death. You know, it's like hyping it up for like WrestleMania or whatever. I don't think there's going to be a Marineford 2. The battle, the war, wherever it happens in the New World is going to be the level of insanity of, you know, as Doflamingo said, it's going to be a war that'll shake the world. You know, Marineford was nothing but a prelude to this. You know what I mean? And Oda's really got to bring the fire on that one. Marineford 2, Electric Boogaloo. That's a good one. Let's see. Ever seen Air Gear? I think a couple years ago I was on the weekly manga recap podcast with Rolo T and Wild World of Time, and I think we looked over a chapter or so of Air Gear, but I never really got into it. When are we getting the Wax fruit versus the Candy fruit? How Devil Fruit users match up? Well, Mr. 3 is kind of not around right now, so unless he dies and somebody else eats his fruit, I think we probably won't ever get that, but it would be an interesting matchup. Have you read Tower of God? No, I haven't read Tower of God yet. And I have not seen Jujutsu Kaisen yet. Will William get a romantic interest? William X Spacestert. Okay. I don't know. So basically, here's something to say. So, yeah, right now in One Piece D&D, you know, we have Ragnar, who is the family man, family bear, so to speak. He's married to Hertha. And he has, well, one child, and he probably has another son, Ragnar the Fourth, that we don't know about yet, expanding the lore. But then, you know, he's the family man, okay? And then we have Duros and Luna that are, like, the passionate, like, long-distance relationship that they have right now, with her being on another planet. And then we have Verona and Lissa that are sort of like, you know, the beginning relationship, very awkward and stuff like that. I don't know, I feel like not every single member of all the core members of the crew have to have a romantic relationship. But we'll see where it goes. You know, or you could look at it like, you know, William has the brotherly relationship with Trevor, and so that's probably going to happen at some point. We're going to have to fight again, or we'll work together on something. I don't know. You know, it's like the twist at the end of Frozen. You know, you ever see Frozen, where the twist was not like true love's kiss or true love because of, you know, somebody you meet, but it was the true love of siblings the whole time. That was the mention. Okay. Hey, love from North Carolina, I guess. How about a Brooks Sword style video? You think the delayed slice? Well, okay, I have to go back and read that. Hold on. Gravy X William. Gravy and William together. How about a Brooks Sword style video? You think the delayed slices could have something to do with the advanced armament? I think it's just a reference to that specific sword style, like the Iaido, you know, where it's like you slice somebody up and then you sheath it. And in the anime, of course, it's the same thing that happens with Trunks in Dragon Ball, where he'll, like, you know, you take out the sword, slice somebody up, and then until you sheath it, that's when they finally get cut. Like, that's a common trope. I don't think it has anything to do with, like, hockey or anything. Did you hear the theory of dragon being an ancient weapon? No, I haven't. I have not, but, you know, that sounds like it would be a theory. Let's pull up some Super Chats, the list of Super Chats I have here. Yeah, give me a sec here. Yeah. Also, I really love the opening and ending themes to Record of Ragnarok. Really solid stuff. I definitely need to add that to my playlist. Absolutely. Positively. All right. Video idea. Other series referencing One Piece. Examples. Homer Simpson as Zoro in the Treehouse of Horror episode, and Craig of the Creek's two-piece. I've never seen Craig of the Creek. I do think I know the episode of Treehouse of Horror. I haven't watched a lot of the newer Simpsons. I'm a huge Simpson nut. But I did see the scene what you talk about. There was a reference to Naruto, I think Attack on Titan, Spirited Away, and Bleach, actually. I think there was a scene where you see all the members of the Simpson house dressed as, like, anime characters. And, Homer was Zoro. Post-time skip Zoro, as a matter of fact. I could do that. I could make a video definitely talking about, like, how One Piece has permeated not just Eastern culture with, like, obviously there's going to be a lot of references to, like, you know, there's, like, those ramen commercials in Japan, of course, that have, like, straw hats in them and everything. But here in the Western world, even, like, One Piece is becoming more prevalent. And so it appears in a lot of our cartoons and media over here. So I could definitely make a video about that. Have I read the new My Hero Academia chapter? I know what happens, but I'm not going to talk about it here because that's not out yet in the official. Were you able to... How were you able to hand the Record of Ragnarok animation? It kind of felt like one giant slideshow. The only part of it that got kind of annoying was when they did the flashback of Thor. And I don't know if they're going to use that kind of animation style later, but that was basically a slideshow. And it was like 2 frames per second, and it was a stylistic choice, of course, because the animation and the rest of it was insane. So that was a stylistic choice, but it really was annoying to watch. I had to skip part of that because it was kind of, you know, screwing with my eyes a bit. Yeah. Let's see. This is from Dogma. Shanks is evil and just doesn't kill kids. Change my mind. I mean, that's a popular theory that's been around for a while, that Shanks is not the good... Well, he's never been presented as, like, the good guy. I mean, like, he's still a pirate. He's definitely killed people before. But is he, like, just a pirate, or is he, like, a pirate? You know what I mean? Like, is he, like, secretly really bloodthirsty and brutal? And just the reason we don't know about that is because, well, the only interaction we've really had is, like, with him and Luffy, and he's nice to Luffy, but I don't know. Can we get an ant fact? I actually haven't had any on deck for right now. Let's see here. I'm trying to think of a good ant fact that I haven't covered yet. I don't know if this counts as an ant fact, but yes, this morning... So Duchess eats these little peanut butter cookie snacks like they're meant for dogs. And we left out one on the porch yesterday for her to eat. She never ate it because she's picky. And she's just like, no, I don't feel like that today. She's like, I know I've eaten them every other day, but like, whatever. I don't care about it today. So Duchess is picky, so she didn't eat it. So it was just out there all night. And I woke up and I went outside and there it is. And there's like a little like, file of ants just going to and back, just going up, 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 and they're like digging into the cookie like it's a rock quarry. Like they're like digging into it and like and they're taking it back, and I'm like, that's pretty damn cool. So I took a picture of that. So there's your ant fact. They're very industrious. Can you tell me something about French mythology? I don't know a lot about French mythology. The only thing I know about French mythology, like, the only thing... Okay, so Cavendish's sword, Durandal, is, I believe, based on a French myth. But that is all I know. That is all I know. There are so many different kinds of myths and legends. I know Japan... English, like Arthurian lore, Nordic, some Native American lore, like with the Thunderbird, some Olmec, some Aztec, Mayan, Incan. I don't know a lot about Chinese, like I said. I don't know a lot about Indian lore. So yeah, there's a lot that I don't know about yet. There's a lot that I do not know. Hopefully I'll learn more as I go. Let's see here. have you ever heard of the One Piece fan comic Sign of Affection? It's basically a Luffy x Nami fanfic, but it's like Oda wrote it, aside from some things. I read a Luffy x Nami fanfic a few years ago. I don't know if that was the same one. That sounds familiar. But the hard part about doing a Luffy anybody fanfic other than Meat, Luffy x Meat fanfic, is because Luffy is basically kind of portrayed as sort of like asexual a little bit in One Piece, where it's like he really doesn't have a lot of like romantic interest in like anybody. And I think that's on purpose, so Oda doesn't even go down that road there. I guess it's possible you could do it, and I read one that was kind of like that, but it was still very difficult. When will we get Green Bull's intro? I hope he brings Big Mom and or Kaido. I mean, like, I think after Wano, I think Oda might just have a massive exposition dump on a lot of things. Like, Wano was this massive arc, and so after this, we're moving into the final saga of One Piece. And it's going to be a thing where it's going to be like, you know what? Here's Vegapunk, here's Green Bull. Like, we're not going to find out everything after Wano, but we're probably going to find out a lot of stuff. Because it's like, okay, you sat through all of Wano, now get ready for the final stretch. Luffy x Meat, that's official. I missed you, Tekking. Well, thank you. Thoughts on... since you like mythology and history so much, I'd recommend the Fate series for you. Not that hard to get into, and a lot of interesting characters. I've heard a lot about the Fate series. Yes, that is something that's definitely on the list. Oh, 100 Canadian dollars. From Justin. Been watching you for years. Thanks for the great content. Put this towards your dream house. Thank you. Yes, I'm still looking. I was actually... there's a part of town, one of the possible areas where I would have liked to live around the area. And, because I have, like, a little square. I'm like, all right, I don't want to move outside of this general area. Not living in this village the rest of my life, but I don't want to move to, like, the other side of the state. I thought about it. I thought about, like, maybe I should just move to another state or, like, you know, some other area. But then that would be saying goodbye to, like, all of my friends, all of my family, really. All my core family is, like, in this area pretty much. And so that would be, like, starting all over. And I'm like, I mean, I could do that, but I really don't want to. So I have, like, a little area, and I was like, oh, here's a few areas I'm thinking, like, specifically would be nice to live in. And I was driving around one of them yesterday so I could get, you know, see if anybody's selling any houses that aren't online. They might just be selling them privately or whatever. And there was a garage sale, so I stopped at the garage sale. I had to get some stuff. And I asked the guy, he's like, hey, are there any places for sale? And he's like, oh, yeah, that place is actually going up soon. That place is going up soon, I think. And I'm like, oh, cool. So there might be some options coming up. I don't know. But thank you for the 100. Kaido is stronger than Big Mom. I think that's definitely a thing. Yeah, Z, I'm getting to your message here. I'm going down the list here. What if back in the Void Century, the Ancient Kingdom was the government of the time and the 20 royal families were the pirates? Now the government former piracy is the government's form of piracy is taxation or the heavenly tribute. I see where you're going with this. That could be. The way I looked at it was the origin of... Okay, so there was this great kingdom that ruled the entire world. And I think they were a technologically advanced kingdom. I think it was like the further back you go, the more scientific it becomes. And then I'm not sure exactly what the origin of the 20 families are, but they fought against this kingdom and they won. And the people fighting for the kingdom were maybe branded as the outlaws, which would eventually become the pirates of the world. This is... I put this into better... I put this into better words in videos I've done. I did a video on the red line, and I think I mentioned this there. The red line theory video, so I would suggest to go watch that. But I think that makes a lot of sense. Like, it used to be a technologically advanced world. The world government took over and, you know, buried all of that. So that's the Void Century secret. And that's why they can't let anybody know about it. And they kind of, like, dumb down the world a little bit to make it easier to manage. I don't know. But we'll see how that goes. Ever gonna make another video about Mashal? Yeah, I do, because Mashal is getting very, very hot right now. It's heating up. Let's see here. Do you watch Grand Line Review? Yeah, I watch his stuff every now and then. I did there was a couple weeks ago, he did a video on, like, this impossible One Piece quiz, and I filmed a video where I also do the quiz, but I also saved it because I have like some videos in the bank or in like the vault, you know, in case I need to travel outside of town, or it's like, okay, something came up and I can't do a video for a few days. I have like extra stuff, you know, on the channel that I can upload, you know, if I'm away or if something comes up like all of a sudden. So that's nice to have. Let's see, what are we getting? Oh, the wax fruit, I already answered that. What do you think of the final fight? Maybe, oh, I already answered that one too. Alright, so, isn't it weird that Luffy likes meat with his mink? Oh, isn't it weird that Luffy likes meat and he's like friends with the minks? Is that what you're saying? They, apparently did, well, the minks eat meat too, just not anything that has hair. So they eat like crocodile meat and stuff like that. So I guess that's okay. Yeah. Tekking, why is it when you are discussing the total battle damage to Kaido, you never mention the Minx participation? When did the Minx... Like, yeah, well... Okay, so when Kaido arrived at the roof, the Minx were all there in Sulong. But then immediately after that... Jack showed up with Nangi and the other members of the Beast Pirates, and they're the ones that kind of fought the Minx. Then it was Inuarashi and Nekomamushi that went into their Sulongs and fought against Kaido. But I don't think have the Minx ever had a moment where they all just, like, jumped Kaido and attacked him at once. Because I think they were about to do that, but then Jack showed up, and he's the one that fought the Minx. Yeah, I don't know if that's ever happened. Are you going to finish the Akatsuki series? Yes! I just finished the Lieutenant series yesterday with Yachiru's video, so I could finally move on and finish off the Akatsuki series. There we go. Yes. Metal Greymon versus Big Mom. Oh, Metal Greymon all the way. Ever heard of Symphogear? It's about lesbian magical girls that fight alchemists, monster girls, and androids using karaoke power armor. That is a very fascinating premise. That is the most anime premise I have ever seen or read in my life. I might have to check that out. Yeah, that sounds... You have my attention. Do you think CP0 will sit down with Momo after the battle to have him bring Wano into the world government? Man, there's so many things the CP0 could do after this battle is over. Like, really. Like, that's what the whole video was about. Like, me talking about, like, what could happen next. That is one of the directions that it could go. You know, Momo takes over the country. Like, Wano's under new management or under the old management of the Kozukis. So maybe the CP0 would talk to Momo about it. Like, hey, you know, we had this arrangement with Orochi. But then Momo might just be like, no, you guys worked with Orochi. Get the hell out of here. You know, and it's like, well, if you do that, we're going to come to war with you. And so, I don't know. I mean, that'll be a test for Momo. That might be the first big test he has to do as the Shogun. But of course, like, Momo's not just going to be like, he's like, okay, Momo, you're the Shogun now. Give us all the orders. He's 8. You know, there's going to be like an advisor. Maybe Hiyori will rule with him or something like that. Even, yeah, because Hiyori, yeah, she was a courtesan for a long time, but she has at least a better idea of, like, the politics of Wano than Momo does at this point, right? So maybe it's like, you know, Momo and Hiyori can, like, rule together or something. Do you think Dr... Whoa, go back. Do you think Dr. Kreha was on the Rocks crew? It would make so much sense. She knew so much. Yeah? Yeah, I mean, like, she's definitely old enough, and she said that she wasn't interested in joining a pirate crew when Luffy asked her to join, but that doesn't mean she's never been a part of a pirate crew. It just means that, like, she wasn't interested right there. Have you watched Your Eternity? No, I have not. Thanks for the 2. Mike Uprising for $50. Isn't it weird that some of the... Wait, stop. Isn't it weird that some of the One Piece characters have some weird biology? I know it's just character design, but if you think about it realistically, it makes you wonder what their ancestors are like. Yeah, like, my favorite is, like, Moria, who basically looks like... I call him an onion human. Like, there's regular humans, and then there's, like, giant humans, like Big Mom and Whitebeard. And then there's, like, humans that might have giant in them, like Kaido. And then there's, like, onion humans, like freaking Moria, that just looks like an onion. There's, like, nobody else on the planet that even kind of resembles Moria. So, what he is, I do not know. And, I didn't make a video about Mashiro. Well, the series was about the original Gotei 13 lieutenants. That was the goal, you know. if that's the case, then I have to make a video about, like, Kiyone Kotetsu, because she is the lieutenant at the end of the story, but yeah, I'm not doing a video on Kiyone Kotetsu. Let's see, what's next? What's the plan for tomorrow? My Hero Academia chapter review, Black Clover, or Mashal? I was thinking either My Hero or Dr. Stone, because, yeah, I do know what happens in those tomorrow, and I think, excuse me, both of those would be really good videos. I haven't decided yet. I'll sleep on it and see. Let's see. Huge fan, listen to your vids at school. Also, you're going to explain your specialist Nen type. I always, like I said before, I would love a teleportation ability. I've always thought the ability to teleport, like to see the world and go wherever you want, would be a really cool power. You know, think of how much gas money you would save, you know, just alone. Think how much airfare you would save. You know, you could just warp to Paris or warp to Japan or whatever you want. Like, that would be awesome. So it would probably be a specialist Nen type that involved transportation in some way. I don't know. Sup, Tekking? Feeling good today? Feeling alright, feeling alright. Went to town earlier, got some lunch, had to go to the bank about some stuff, took Duchess for a walk, she had fun. Oh, I got a new, like, okay, so we have a garage, right? We have a garage, or a car hold. That's a Simpsons reference for you right there. He's like, what would you call it then? A car hold. I'm like, okay, I don't know if it's car hold or a car hole. Like, here's a hole, you park your car. Anyway. We have a garage, all right? It's a one-car garage. It has an automatic garage door opener that my dad installed way back in, like, the 90s. And, you know, I've never had a remote for it. And I finally went and got a remote, and I was like, all right, I don't know if it's, like, it's an old garage door opener. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, like, if this thing's going to work. So I'm in the garage, like, at midnight, you know, a couple nights ago on top of a ladder, like, messing around with it, and it worked. It was actually super easy. I'm just like, oh, it worked! Yes! So I now have a garage door opener. That wasn't a very interesting story, but I felt proud, damn it. I felt proud. I'm not the kind of guy that, like, you know, oh, the roof is looking a little rough. Let me retar the roof. Or, oh, that chimney's not looking too good. Let me, like, you know, add some more bricks to the freaking chimney. Or let me, break apart our sidewalk and add a new sidewalk in. I'm like, I'm not that kind of guy. I can't really do that kind of stuff. So I'm like, I figured out how to program a garage door opener. Yeah! Alright. So, let's see, what's next? I have a question. What do you think of Gear 5? So I answered that one. Do you think Sengoku can combine his shockwaves, advanced armament hockey, and advanced conquerors hockey? If anybody could do it, I imagine Sengoku is pretty old. Yeah, he could probably do all that, sure. I always listen to your videos at work, too, so thanks for filling the silence with your awesomeness. Thank you. Thank you, Trey, for the 5. Glad I can make the workday go by a little faster. Is Nami Big Mom's daughter? No. I don't know. I got a lot of people for a while there thinking that Jory Bonnie was related to Big Mom because of the pink hair. But she seems to be related to the Dowager. No, what was it called? She was the Queen Dowager of the Sorbet Kingdom in the south. So that seems to be something different, yeah. Let's see. Thoughts on My Hero Academia switching up the arcs for Season 5? Yeah, I just saw that. Like, I just watched the episode this morning, and it's like, oh, they're skipping Villain Academia to go to Endeavor. And that makes sense. Like, they're not skipping it, they're just putting it on the end, which makes sense. So instead of doing, like, the Class B fights and then this giant Villain Academia arc and then switching back to Endeavor, they're doing Class B and then Agency arc. I think that's the best way to do it, and they're not messing up the timeline at all. They're just, like, skipping ahead. So, like, yeah, 9 days before this current Endeavor arc happened, this Deka City moment happened. Deka City with, like, the villain organization and everything with Detranat and everybody. So they're just going to tack that on at the end of the arc. I think that works fine at the end of the season. Let's see. Yeah, happy Juneteenth. I'm over here getting screwed over by the Pokemon Company's false advertising. What did the Pokemon Company false advertise? I didn't watch a lot of E3. I watched the Metroid Dread, isn't it called? Metroid Dread and Obviously, Breath of the Wild 2. But what was up with Pokemon? Let's see. Can Mr. 2 gain Poseidon's power if he became... Oh, I think that was a question from last time. Yeah, that sounds like a question from last time. I think we're... Okay. So, I know there's been Super Chats since then. Let me go through the regular chat for a bit, and then we'll come back to the Super Chat later. It's a balancing act, ladies and gentlemen. My hair is ridiculous right now. Shout out for the Philippines! Go Philippines! There you go. Wino Baki reviewing. Haven't seen Baki. Kid uses his devil fruit on Napoleon to make him fight Big Mom. That is something he could do. Let's see. I wouldn't say Thriller Bark is one of the worst arcs. It's more of a self-contained kind of thing, similar to Skypiea. Maybe it's arcs that don't really connect to a lot of things like outside the story. So Skypiea is kind of an isolated thing, and so maybe that's why people don't like it as much. Other than like Impel Down or Sabaody, which like connects to like various things. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. Yeah, we'll go back to the Super Chats in a moment here, because while I was reading those, I was getting new ones, and so it's a constant flow. How would you like a Soul Eater remake? I would love a Soul Eater remake. The thing is, like, the Soul Eater anime is good. Like, there's a little bit of filler, but not too much, and the animation's really solid. It's just they stopped, like, halfway through the series. I mean, it wasn't finished when they started animating it, but you'd think, like, they would just put it on hiatus for a bit and then come back to it later. I don't think we're ever going to get it, unfortunately, which sucks. Let's see. Have I read Kaiju number 8? I read, like, the first 12 chapters of Kaiju. I kind of stopped reading it. Not because I didn't like it, it's just because that's how I am a lot of times. Can people without Conqueror's Hockey learn Ryuo? So the way I understand, Ryuo is just, like, armament hockey. That's what they call it in Wano. It might be slightly different from, like... Think of it like in Avatar: The Last Airbender, how there's more than one way that you can use firebending. Like, Zuko first learned it from, like, rage, and then he learned the true way to firebend later on from the dragons. So maybe think of it like that. Like, in other parts of the world, you learn, like, the way that Luffy learned armament hockey from Rayleigh is a little different from the way that, like, Hyogoro would teach somebody Ryuo, which is armament hockey, in Wano. Like thinking, like, just the way you're picturing it is slightly different, you know? They making a Pokemon mobile? Like a Pokemon mobile game? I have not heard this. I need to look into that. Hype for Shrek 5. Okay. I'm assuming that's a joke. That's like a troll comment or whatever. Please tell me they're not making a Shrek 5. I'm going to look up at the screen in a couple of seconds here. Please tell me they're not making Shrek 5. There's a little bit of a lag, so see how that goes. MOBA game. What's a MOBA game? Is that like the name of a company? I'm out of touch with things. I'm sorry if it's just like, he doesn't know what MOBA is. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. No, it's real. Son of a bitch! Damn it. Alright. Alright. Well, somebody once told me the world. Alright. What do we know about it? What do we know? Do we know anything about it? MOBA is like League of Legends. Alright, so I've never played League of Legends, so there we go. Alright, so that's why I'd have no idea what that was. Alright. Well, I hope it's a good game, but apparently a lot of people are kind of nervous about it, so maybe it won't be. I don't know, but that's not... I've never played League of Legends, so there you go. Just to know, did you see how Kuro appeared during Dressrosa in the manga? He was looking at Luffy versus Doflamingo in the birdcage in chapter 788. Kuro? I don't know. I'd have to check in on that. It might just be a character that might look like Kuro, but I'd have to go back and check. Alright, It was delayed because of COVID, obviously. 2022, it's coming out. Script is finished, but it's not in production yet. How does your Zanpakuto work? The power of light and explosions. You missed my older super chat. Don't worry, I'll get to him. I'm just gonna be reading these for right now. We need to figure out what's going on with Shrek 5. All right, this is my childhood here. All right. What's your favorite Shrek movie? I'll be honest with you. When I was a kid growing up, I think I liked Shrek 3 the most. But then I rewatched Shrek 3 a few years ago, and I'm like, no, that does not hold up. So I think the first one is my favorite. Part 2 is really good as well. I watched the fourth one, but I really didn't like it. I didn't like it when it first came out. I watched all of the Shrek movies at once, like a year or so ago, and I didn't like it then either. That's why I'm kind of afraid of Shrek 5, because I didn't really like Shrek 4 that much. Yeah. Would I do more Chainsaw Man videos? I get asked that every time. I saw the other day that you could get a plushie of, what was the name of the devil? Was it, Pochina, I think? And so that was, like, you get a plushie of Pochina. And I'm like, oh, that looks so adorable. I might get one. Shrek 2 is good. Shrek 1 and 2. Yeah, I think most people are probably going to say Shrek 1 and 2. It's meant to be a reboot to Shrek in total. Okay, yeah, maybe. So, one of the big things about Shrek at the time is you never really saw anything like that, right? It was taking all these fairy tales and making a really rich universe where they all existed. They were all real fairy tale creatures, and everybody knew about them, right? So you didn't need to know about Little Red Riding Hood. You already knew the fairy tale. Or the nursery rhyme. No, it wasn't a nursery rhyme. Pochita. Yeah, that Pochita. Anyway, yeah, so it was so really cool to watch. Like, all right, this is freaking Shrek, and oh, he met, like, the 3 blind mice, and then, oh, here are the pigs, and, from Goldilocks and the 3 bears. Wait, no. Were there pigs in Goldilocks and the 3 bears? Whatever. The point is that everyone knew about these, like, fairy tales. And it was nice because it also introduced the modern kind of, like, not fourth wall breaking, but kind of, where, like, it literally opens up with Smash Mouth, and that's, like, early 2000s at its greatest. I don't know. I'll probably see it, I mean, like, I grew up with Shrek, and I have a fondness for Shrek, so I'll probably, watch it. We'll see where it goes. Is Eddie Murphy coming back as Donkey? Is, like, I need to read... Hold on, let me pull this up. Let me at least pull up to see, like, the basics of this. Let me just pull it up on, like, Wikipedia, I guess. Shrek 5. Because I know Eddie Murphy, I know he's done, like, a few movies. He did that movie, like, My Name is Dolomite. But I don't think he's... I think he's largely, like, retired, Eddie Murphy, from film. I think every once in a while he'll do something, but I think he's off doing other stuff. All right, Shrek 5. Let's see what we got here. Yes, he's coming back. Oh, wow. Okay, that's crazy. I mean, I love Donkey. I mean, I love Shrek. I love Donkey. I love Fiona, Puss in Boots. I mean, it would be great to see them all again, but if it's a reboot, are they going to reboot all the characters? I don't know. All right, the Shrek franchise. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. Remember there was a Puss in Boots? Wasn't there a Puss in Boots, animated series on, like, Disney or Nickelodeon or something? I remember that. Remember, oh, my God. There were so many specials. Far, Far Away Idol. I remember that. Shrek's Yule Log. Thriller Night. Puss in Boots. The 3 Diabolos. The 3 Diablo. I don't know. There was a lot of Shrek the Halls. I remember I've seen that. I've watched Shrek the Halls. That came out in 2007. I remember when that came out. Yep, and a movie. Oh, yeah, he got his own movie, too. Yeah, I don't remember caring much for Puss in Boots when he was first introduced. I just thought of him as like, all right, he's a cool little side character in the second movie, but I didn't really think he would have exploded as much as he did. All right. Yeah, The Adventures of Puss in Boots, 2015 to 2018. Wow, that was late, too. That was well after all the movies, and that ended only a couple years ago. Wow. Remember the Penguins of Madagascar? Remember they got their own series? Oh, shit. Back up again. The Barnyard. Remember, there was that movie, and then they had that animated series, The Barnyard. That's even going back further. You picked up a robot arm from a thug you killed, maybe in episode 1 to 5. Maybe give it to Cyril. This is a thing with One Piece D&D. We always end up, forgetting the stuff that we're supposed to have, This is now a Shrek stream. Yeah, well, hold on. We'll get back to other stuff, but I gotta figure out what this is about here. Hold on. Wait, I can't find it on here. There should at least be a thing that says, like, hey, like, future projects or whatever. Ah, here it is. Untitled 5th Shrek film. Okay. Let's see. Let me get this is like throughout the years, like 2014, 2016. All right, here's something. On November 6, 2018, it was reported by Variety, tasked to the executive producer of both Shrek 5 and Puss in Boots 2, with the cast of the previous films potentially returning. Okay. It says Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is coming out next year. I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see. Where it pans out. What are your thoughts on Demon Slayer? I've only read the first 2 volumes of Demon Slayer. It's pretty good from what I have. I just need to get through it. Tekking Breathing Techniques video series. Oh, yes. And then you talk for 25 minutes about Katakuri's pitchfork or whatever. You know what I mean? That's the style there. That's the style. Can we have a History is Something series? I should do a History is Something series. We talked about history a little bit at the beginning of this with Juneteenth. So yeah, let me try to remember. Okay, so here's some history for you, at least what I can remember. I might be off on some dates and exact details, but from what I remember, so the Civil War ended in May of 1865, okay? And I think if you look up the official date for when it ended, I think it'll say May, but I think the Treaty at Appomattox at the courthouse was signed in April, and Lincoln was assassinated in April, and there was another battle, I think, that was fought after May, or like the few days after the official end of the Civil War. I think it was in southern Texas on the border of Mexico. There was like one more battle, and I think the Confederacy actually won that. But it was like after the war ended, so most people consider it like, this is not a Civil War thing. This is like a skirmish like after the war or something. I think it was on some ranch in southern Texas, but I think it was after the official end of the war. So there was that. And then, as I said, the origin of Juneteenth is when the information finally arrived at, like, all over the country. Specifically, I think it was in Texas, a town called Galveston in Texas. When they found out this information in 1865 on June 19th, there was a big celebration in the town. It's the end of slavery. All slaves are freed. And then that became a yearly celebration in that one town. And then over the years, it expanded to the rest of the country. I think that's the history. I might be off on some of the dates or whatnot. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the origin there. So there's some history is something. Yeah. And actually, here's another fun fact for you. I think the way the Emancipation Proclamation was written was that it took effect, it was supposed to take effect in 1863, but that was when the Civil War was still going on. But by the time it finally passed through Congress and it was finally, declared law, basically it was declared that, like, as of January 1st, 1863, all slaves are hereby freed. But this was already 1865, so it was like, yeah, this should have happened like 2 years ago. Honestly, it should have happened a longer time ago, but here it is. And so that's, where celebration began, yeah. I see, no iced tea this time. I have both! I carry water and iced tea pretty much wherever I go, so I have the option, so I can't just sit here and drink iced tea all the time. Because I piqued your interest with that series, here's a tip. If you ever watch it, use the D-Truck subs for seasons 1 through 4. Oh, okay. Well, I'll look it up at some point and I'll watch it, yeah. Yeah, the Battle of... That was it. What was it called? The Battle of Palmito Ranch. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but yeah, that was it. I think there was, like, it was like there was a bunch of Union soldiers and Confederate soldiers at this ranch, and it was like in southern Texas. I think it was on the Rio Grande, you know, it was the border where Mexico was. And I want to say they didn't know the war was over because this was in the 1860s, so, you know, communications weren't the best, but they did have telegraphs back then. So they might have known and they fought anyway, but I have a feeling, the way I'm remembering this is the Confederacy did win that one battle. Now, it wasn't like a huge battle. It was like, you know, just a small group of Union soldiers, small group of Confederate soldiers that were just stationed there that had that fight. It wasn't like, you know, like Gettysburg or anything like that. But, yeah. By the way, I've never been to Gettysburg. I was going to go. It's like a 3-hour drive from where I'm at in Pennsylvania. I need to go. I've always wanted to go. My dad went a few times. My grandfather took him and my dad and his brothers growing up a few times. I was going to go last year. But something came up and I couldn't go. I was going to go with one of my friends. I want to go see Gettysburg. Shit, man. I want to go see that this summer. I'm going to go to Gettysburg this summer. I need to go see that. I live in Pennsylvania, for God's sakes. It's like 3 hours away, you know? Yeah, both sides knew the war was over. The reason why they fought is not entirely known. I don't know. History is weird sometimes. Sometimes history just doesn't make any sense. Hey guys, the war's over. All right. You still want to fight? Yeah, I guess so. Like, I don't know how it happened. I don't know why, but I think that was the story of the last battle of the Civil War. Also, I was looking up a couple weeks ago, I was looking up the oldest surviving veterans from various wars. And I think the oldest Civil War veteran died in like the 1950s. And so there's different categories because there's like, here's the oldest soldier that actually fought, and then here's the oldest like member of the army. Like, I know for World War I, the last person that was in World War I did pass away a couple years ago, but it wasn't a soldier. I think she was a nurse. But she still participated in the war, obviously, so she counts. But it's like different categories where they're organized in. So I think the last soldier died like over 10 years ago or something. And then my grandfather is going to be 99, and he fought in World War II. So there's a lot of World War II veterans still around. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll get back to Super Chats here in a moment here. How long have we been going? About an hour. About an hour. This is mostly a history / Shrek stream. So there you go. Have you ever heard of the theory of Shanks being a celestial dragon that was left on God Valley and Roger found him and took him after defeating rocks? Shanks is... Well, no, because Shanks is from the west and God Valley was in the Grand Line, from what we understand, so I don't know if that would fit right. My favorite Rick and Morty episode. I gotta come back to that. I will answer that question. I was actually, because Season 5's coming out tomorrow at 11 o'clock, Season 5 of Rick and Morty, I've rewatched the whole season. In fact, I just finished Season 4 yesterday. I watched that. I rewatched that. I do love Shrek. Let's see here. My grandpa would have been I almost read that as my grandpa would have been 200 a month ago. No, 100 2 months ago. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I hope he lives to be 100. I think he'll make it. Yeah. Yeah, that's a little drive. That's what I mean. Tekking, it's like a 3-hour drive from here. That's like the other side of the country. You're saying that's like a little drive. Oh, if you live in like, yeah, okay. So if you live in another country, so that's the thing. Like, European nations, for the most part, like when you're talking like, England, Germany, France, they're a lot smaller as a country. Because when I think of a country, I think of, the United States, which is huge. It's, driving from one end of the U.S. to the other end of the U.S. is about 3,000 miles. And I think it would take about... I've always heard it would take about 3 days, and that's if you're stopping and sleeping and then driving the rest. Like, you sleep for 8 hours and you drive the remainder of the day. Stop to eat, stop to get gas, taking that into account, maybe 3 to 4 days to cross the entire country. There's a highway, I-80, that stretches straight across the continental. In fact, when my family and me were visiting Ocean City a couple years ago, okay, I say a couple years ago. This was like 10 years ago. Actually, I say 10 years ago. This was like 15 years ago. I was like 12 when we went. Anyway, I remember when we were in Ocean City, we were driving and there was a highway and it literally said, there was a sign, an actual sign that said, Sacramento, California, 3,000 miles that way. And it was just like, turn here, 3,000 miles, Sacramento. There you go. I'm like, oh, damn, right? And this was in Maryland. So, yeah. Yeah, but in other countries, they're smaller, so you could cross... Like, that concept is insane to me. Like, to go to one end of the country in only a few hours, right? You know, that would be insane to me. I'm old! I know! Alright, so let's go through some Super Chats now. Let's refresh the Super Chat board here. Yeah. Now, the real crazy thing is if you live in Russia. Driving... I don't even think you can drive from one end of Russia to the other one. I remember I watched this video on, like, the super highway once, where, like, if there was, like, a mega highway that could connect all the highways in the world into one unit, one thing, excluding Australia, of course, because it's, like, way down there, what you would have to do. I think it was a real-life lore video. So, I don't know. Is anybody from Russia? Can you drive from, like, one end of Russia all the way to, like, the border where, like, the Sea of Otahosk is and, like, where, you know, Alaska is and everything? I guess you couldn't drive to Alaska, but you know what I mean. We need Tekking versus... Oh, yeah. Yeah, Tekking versus Logan Paul or KSI. Yeah, I'll get in the ring. Yeah. I'm going to start... Yeah, it starts with Logan Paul and KSI, but then it's Tekking's going to start the boxing career, yeah. I have been getting more into boxing, not because of Logan Paul, but I have been getting more into boxing, you know. So anyway, I've been watching it more anyway. Do you think Momo could possibly be one of the ancient weapons? That has been around for a while as well. I think the general idea is Momo controlling Zunisha. Is like maybe that's an ancient weapon. And while I do definitely think that Zunisha can devastate an area, it's a very old elephant that was wounded by Jack. I don't think that would be much of an indestructible weapon. And it moves very slowly. So I don't think Zunisha itself is an ancient weapon. I think Uranus is going to be something else. But I do like the theory. Yeah, that's me. I'm from Alaska. You can cross all of Russia with a car. Holy crap, okay. Well, you know, the area around, like, Moscow made sense. But, like, when you start getting over to, like, you know, where Alaska is, that's like Siberia. That's pretty cold. And I don't know if there was highways there or what. If there was enough of demand to have a road out to that. I don't know. Because, like, you can drive... From the continental U.S. to Alaska. You can drive upside the shore of Canada to get to Alaska, but there's certain parts of Alaska you can't drive to. You have to take a plane or a helicopter or something, or a boat or a ship. You can't drive from southern Alaska to northern Alaska. There's no way to do it, I don't think. Yeah. Let's see. Have you heard the theory of Shanks of Celestial Dragon? Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I liked Invincible. The season finale was very intense, and there's a lot more to come. I saw a guy that has the Invincible comic, and he basically bookmarked it like this is where we are right now at the end of season 1, and there's still a lot left. So, yeah, we'll see where this picks up. If the anime people's hockey has a color associated to it, do you think that Oda declares the character's color? For example, Katakuri's color could be blue. Yeah, I mean, like, they're doing different, like, hockey. It's sort of like Super Saiyan power a little bit, where, like, they all have, like they all have a different colored Kaioken or something like that. It's a little bit dramatic at times, but damn does it look cool. Let's see. What do you think about One Piece being the all-blue and that the destruction of Marijois and Fishman Island will bring about both One Piece and the New Era? That was basically the Red Line theory. That's not a theory I have come up with. That was a theory that's been around for years. Even on, like, the very early, like, the Oro Jackson forums, that theory existed. Like, the Red Line will be destroyed, the oceans will become one, that's the all-blue, Sanji finds his dream. Excuse me, I burped. And that's all the One Piece. You know, me burping, the Red Line, and the all blue, that's the One Piece. It's been around for a while. I don't know. I feel like if Oda is... Oh, because I think somebody asked him once, like, if somebody guesses what the One Piece is, would Oda change it? Or if what the ending was, would Oda change it? and he said that he would. And I might be misremembering because there's a lot of, like, interviews and people say their interviews, or Oda did say this. That happens a lot. Like, people say, oh, Oda said this at this time, and I could never find proof of it. So it's like, maybe he did, maybe he didn't, or maybe it was just something somebody said at some point, or somebody misconstrued something, and it just got passed to one person, and the rumor spreads, the rumor mill gets spread all over the place, and before you know it, people think it's fact. I don't know. Let's see. Do you know who Grand Line Review is? He is... I'm looking at a book. He's the Norse god of manga. I don't know. I've never met him, no. But I've helped. I made one video with him where I was a cameo in one of them. I remember he asked me when he was doing a bounty video on why Buggy's bounty was so low or something, or the lowest bounties in One Piece. I did a cameo for him there, yeah. Do you think the 5 elders, Gorosei, are stronger than the admirals? I don't know. I feel like their main job is just to be there and run the government, but one of them has a sword, and they look like they'd be like the tough old men, you know, that you would see in, like, anime, so I'm not sure. Let's see. How strong do you think Luffy will be endgame? He'll have an awakening, I feel, at that point. I mean, he'll truly be Yonko level. I mean, I don't think of Luffy at the end of this story being like freaking Saitama, though, where he's like, one punch! And just end anybody. You know, because even Roger wasn't, like, the objectively strongest person in the world. Like, if Roger fought against Garp, he would have still had a little bit of a struggle, you know? And Garp might have won. But he was the king. And Luffy's going to be the king, and he's going to be pretty strong. Would he be strong enough to, like, one-shot Kaido? No. But he'll be strong. What is your favorite food? I'm partial to... I like shrimp. I like seafood. Let's see. I mean, it changes a lot. There's a local restaurant around here that got a delivery from a company in Louisiana. They actually got alligator meat. And I'm like, I've never had alligator meat. So I tried it. It's actually pretty good. I would not say it tastes like chicken, which that's actually how it was told to me. Like, oh, it tastes like chicken. It doesn't taste like chicken. It tastes a little different, but I do like alligator. So anybody that maybe, because I know it's more of a delicacy in the South, like if you live in like New Orleans or something, or maybe Florida, it's more common to eat alligator because they're around. They're not really around here too much in Pennsylvania. But I think it was pretty delicious. I liked it. Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, I think Luffy's gonna be really strong, but not like Saitama. Like, you know, endgame Luffy could one-shot Big Mom now. Like, no, it's not gonna be anything like that. I haven't got around to reading the book yet, Abel. Sorry, but I have it sitting right over there, actually. But I haven't gotten around to reading it yet. Also, what do you think about the synergy between Robin and Doflamingo's fruits? Because Doflamingo can summon the threads, and then Robin can use the Hana Hana. So, I mean, it's a very... They're probably in, like, the same category of Paramecia, sort of. It's just that he could summon a thread and she summons parts of her body, but same basic concept, I guess, yeah. Considering how long the average lifespan of a giant is, how accurate do you think Elbaf's history records are? That's one of the things I want to see the most. When we get to Elbaf, I want to know... They might have the history. They might have, like, the freaking castle. Like, Odin has a castle, and in the depths of it, there's a giant wall that's, like, maybe not poneglyph language, maybe, like, runic, like Viking runes or something, and it's just like, here is the history. Like, holy crap. Like, maybe it might not have everything, but it might have some stuff that was written during the Void Century. Same thing with Skypiea. You'd think that there would definitely be stuff in Skypiea that alludes to the Void Century, right? And there was stuff that existed before it, but not during, you know? Or if there was, it was very, very minimal. What do you think? Who do you think would win, Goku or Luffy? Let's say, I mean, I love you, Luffy. I love you, but, like, Goku would kick your ass. I'm sorry. You missed 2 super chats from Pay Sensei. Yeah, I'm going down the list. It's a long list. Tell you what I'm going to do. Because we've been... How long have we been going? An hour and 10 minutes? Okay. I'm going to turn off super chats now. Because, yeah, there's just too many. I'm going to refresh and then go through one more time with the ones I've just received. Let me refresh this because, yeah, I'll be probably getting off in about 10-20 minutes here and go through all of these, and then we could go through the regular chat a little bit. All right. Any tips on overcoming low energy, depression, lack of motivation, living with regrets? I stopped my depression meds because I got a job and I thought I was getting better but got worse, so I'm taking it again. So I'm not, when it comes to depression, I can't really, I'm not a doctor or, you know, I can't really help you with that because that's not something I personally deal with. I don't know anything about, like, medication or anything. You know, whenever, like, in just a general sense, when I feel like, you know, when the days when I wake up and I just feel like blah and I don't really feel like doing anything, like, I gotta do a video and I gotta do this, but I don't feel like doing this. You know, some days I do just hang out, you know, it's like, it's okay to take a break every once in a while. You know, it's all right to just sit around and not do anything. I do feel maybe a little bit of, you know, it's like, oh man, I should be doing something, but I'm not. And other days I have to kind of like force myself to do it. Typically it's like go for a walk. You know, if the weather is nice, I try to force myself up and go for a walk, and usually that helps me a little bit. But that's just how it is for me. You know, if for somebody else that has, like, you know, depression, I'm not sure. I'm sorry. But that's just what works for me. I try to, like, okay, I've been laying around too much. I got to get up and get moving, and just, like, kind of force myself to sometimes. Considering how long the average lifespan of a giant is, I already answered that one. Yeah, I hope there's something in LBAF that has that information. What's my favorite show, not anime? That changes constantly. Of all time that I've probably watched, like, the most of, probably, like, The Simpsons, because I got into The Simpsons when I was, like, in middle school, and I got, like, obsessed with them. And I was actually just rewatching Season 3 the other day. Yeah, I mean, like, there's that. I really liked Invincible. That was a good series. Venture Brothers is great. I hope that comes back. Well, it's coming back. Venture Brothers is getting a movie. Venture Brothers is getting a movie, and I wish it was more than that, but hey, it's what we get to close out the whole story. I feel like there's way more that could have been done than just with a movie. But hey, it is what it is. I like Rick and Morty, and that's coming back here. Oh yeah, my favorite Rick and Morty episode. That is so... I like the Purge episode. That was pretty funny. The Purge episode was pretty funny. I just watched the Vat of Acid episode last night. I watched the end of Season 4. The Vat of Acid episode was pretty nuts. And the Season 4 finale was good. If I had to pick one, I'd say the Season 2 finale. The one where Rick turns himself into prison and then Nine Inch Nails queues up hurt. And it's just... that's a powerful ending to a season, you know. So I would probably say the Season 2 finale. But, yeah, Pickle Rick! I like Pickle Rick. Pickle Rick is... I actually have in the freezer, not the freezer, in the fridge downstairs, I have a packet of Szechuan McDonald's sauce that I got back in, like, 2017 that I haven't opened. And it's still in there. And it's probably bad. Or it's probably really bad, but it's in there. Oh, man. Have I ever played a One Piece game? I played Burning Blood a little bit, yeah. Why doesn't Kaido have any giants in his crew? Well, he has the numbers, who are artificial giants. Maybe it's like a situation where he couldn't get giants to work on his crew, same as Big Mom, so Kaido decided just to have artificial giants made by Caesar, Vegapunk. I think it was stated the numbers were failed creations of Vegapunk that might have been, like, cryogenically frozen on Punk Hazard and then thawed out, and then Caesar sold them to Kaido. I think that might have been what happened there. I know you liked Persona, so I was wondering if you've ever played any of the Shin Megami Tensei games. Number 5 is coming out in November. No, so from what I understand, Shin Megami Tensei is the main video game series, and then Persona was an offshoot of that, and that just became so popular, it became its own series, right? So I've never played any other... I've only ever played Persona 4 and a little bit of Persona 1. And when I say a little bit, I mean like 15 minutes of Persona 1. I've never played any of the other Shin Megami Tensei games. But I don't even know what they're like. I've never even, you know, looked into it, really. You seem to bring Toriko up in your videos quite a bit. Are you ever going to do a discussion? Yeah, Toriko was a really good series. That's another one where the anime just kind of ended about halfway through. The anime ended right before they went to Gourmet World. I read Toriko right through high school, community college, right up through university. I mean, it was like, that was part of like my weekly routine. I thought the characters were pretty cool and everything. I like the crazy over the top battles, and like the focus on the food actually made sense. You know, but it's been over for many years now, and I don't think that we're ever going to get some kind of like anime adaptation of it, so, or another one. So what are you going to do? Can you read my last super chat about Bakuman? Well, when we get there, we're still moving down through the list. That's the hockey color thing. I answered that. Answered that one. Momo Ancient Weapons, asked that one. Got that one. The 3-hour drive. God Valley. This is one I don't think I've answered. Why do you think Blackbeard wanted the Yami Yami no Mi so much? It doesn't seem that great. Do you think there's a hidden aspect of it? It seems pretty damn good to me. It seems pretty good to me. You can absorb other... you can literally effectively cancel anybody's Devil Fruit power without hockey for free, basically. And aside from Blackbeard being susceptible to pain, he has a lot of endurance. Like, when he gets hit, he feels that pain like tenfold, but he doesn't really get injured from it. So there is a downside there, but it's actually very effective for him to use that power. So there might be some more secrets of the Yami Yami. In fact, when he stole the power of the Gura Gura no Mi from Whitebeard, I originally thought that it was because of the Yami Yami that he was able to have 2 powers. It might be, who knows? But yeah, I think it looks pretty good, and I think it fits his power very, very appropriately there. Why would Blackbeard want the Gamu Gamu no Mi? I don't think he wants the Gamu Gamu no Mi. I mean, he's hunting rare devil fruits. He might be like, all right, if I have the chance to get it, I'll get it. But, you know, I'm sure there's other ones higher up on the list. I made a video about this. I made a video about, like, what devil fruits would he be most willing to go after. And I put on, like, the Bomb fruit that, like, Mr. 5 had. Like, that would be a useful one to have. Jozu's diamond fruit is always brought up. Like, there's a lot of interesting fruits that he would be aimed to get. Let's see here. Luffy Endgame, I answered that one. Was the idea that the Impel Down Demon Beast Guards were awakened zones because they were experimented on to be awakened? Is that a fan theory or from an SBS? I've never heard of that in an SBS, so that has to be a fan theory. It wasn't really elaborated on why the Beast Guards were awakened zones. Crocodile just mentions it offhandedly. He just says, oh, they're awakened zones, they'll heal faster, they're stronger. That's pretty much all that he says. He doesn't go on in further detail on where they came from or anything like that. But considering they work for the government, I would imagine some experimentation might have been done at some point. I'm not sure. Yeah, Crocodile mentioned they were awakened. That's all we got. Let's see. Yo, Matt, what are your thoughts about Demon Slayer? Oh, I answered that one. Yeah, Demon Slayer, I like it from what I've, like, the first 2 volumes that I've read, but it's one of those things, it's like, I'll get back to it at some point. Weeks, months, years, I don't know. I'm a basic anime watcher. I've just seen Naruto, Dragon Ball, One Piece. Any new recommendations? Dr. Stone. I like Dr. Stone. Chainsaw Man's good. The anime's coming of that soon, so that'll be good. That's not an anime yet, but it's coming out soon. Let's see. Have you read an OP fanfic, Supernova? Haven't read a lot of OP fanfics, other than the ones I made the videos for. But other than that, excuse me again, I haven't really read fanfics a lot, so I apologize. What if admirals were the Yonko, and the Yonko were the admirals? Whitebeard as a fleet admiral, Garp still a marine, Sengoku as Roger's rival. That would be a weird... That is like a Rick and Morty-esque kind of like parallel universe kind of deal. Like, this is universe C496 or something where everything is flipped. I mean, the same basic structure would remain the same. It would just be picture Whitebeard wearing the marine outfit and picture Aka Inu as a pirate. But if they still had their respective devil fruits, it would pretty much just be the same, just reversed, you know? And their outfits would be different. The Aka Inu, the Red Dog Pirates. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that would be the Magma Dog Pirates. That would be cool. Let's see here. Wano, Giant Turtle, plus Zunisha, Giant Elephant, plus 3 other elephants from Thriller Bark, equals the Ancient Kingdom. I don't think those things at Thriller Bark were elephants. They seemed like some weird eldritch freaking, like, nightmare horror, like Great Cthulhu or something. I don't know what they would be, though. You missed my older super chat. We're going down the list! How does your Zanpakuto work? I had, like, the idea I had for mine, it was called, Kuroi Taiyo, which is very basically translated into Black Sun, to reference an eclipse, and it was like, I had an idea that it was going to be like a light and explosion-based Zanpakuto. Let's see. Can Zeus use hockey? I don't think he can, but if Nami learns how to use it in some capacity, like observation, it would make Zeus more effective in combat, so maybe. But I don't think, like, Zeus could use hockey, so Nami doesn't have to know it personally, and then she, like, bypasses that by wielding Zeus. I don't think that's going to be the case. Let's see here. Who would win, Ace versus Natsu? Natsu has the power of friendship, just like last time somebody asked me who would win Natsu versus Asta. And I would say Asta would win, but Natsu would always pull out a last-minute friendship victory. So I feel like Natsu would beat Ace. Yeah. Let's see. After Wano, will we have Luffy and Zoro training with Conquerors? I guess that'll happen, but will we get confirmation that 2 of the Yonkos have been replaced and Luffy is officially a Yonko? If Kaido and Big Mom are defeated, I feel like Luffy would officially just become a Yonko at that point. At least to the rest of the world, they would call him a Yonko. And if Big Mom is defeated as well, then Law or maybe Kid would become the new Yonko? I don't know. But yeah, they would definitely have to start training with Conquerors. Maybe Katakuri could show up again and Katakuri could teach him about Conquerors or something, because he knows it, maybe. SBS time! Here we are. This is basically like SBS. Let's see. Like Kid using Devil Fruit to fight Napoleon. I read that. New nickname or epithet, epitaph of the Straw Hats after Wano video incoming. Oh, like they're gonna get new, like, titles. I don't think they will. Jinbei already has one. He's the first son of the sea. You know what I mean? So I feel like he's not going to get anything different just because he's not a warlord anymore. Oh, it started to rain. And it's okay, because guess where my car is right now? It's in the garage. Oh, I really want to get a house that has a garage. That'd be so nice. Minor caveat before we get back into this. I have to park on the street because that's the only place I can park. And there's, like, power lines over that area of the street, and birds shit on my car constantly, and it's very annoying. Okay, back to it. But it's in the garage now, so haha! Screw you, birds! Right now, there's, like, a bird that's, like, sneaking into the garage, like, oh, you think I can't poop on your car? Okay, I'm gonna sneak in. Oh, man. But yeah, I don't think the Straw Hats are gonna get any kind of new titles or anything. Okay, here's Pei Sensei's. Have you ever watched Bakuman? If so, who's your favorite character and what's your favorite show they made within the show itself? I never watched Bakuman, unfortunately. Or Bakuman. Bakuman, Bakuman. Either of those I've never seen, so I'm sorry. I know about it. At least I think... Okay, one of them's about manga that was written by the people that did Oba and Obata Sensei that did Death Note. And the other one is the Spinning Top game. But neither of those I've seen, so I'm sorry, I couldn't really answer your question. Thoughts on Zoro getting a new sword made of sea prism? That sounds really good, but I don't know if that would be such an effective weapon. I don't know how, because we've never really seen a sea prism sword. Now, maybe it's possible to have, like, a regular katana, maybe with, like, a sea prism coating on, like, the edge of the sword. Like, you make a regular, like, this is an Owazamono katana, but then maybe, because they figured out a way to line marine battleships with sea prism. So you're lining a ship with sea prism. Maybe it's possible to, like, boil or, like, superheat sea prism and turn it into a liquid state, and then, like, turning it into, like, a resin that you can, like, coat objects with, like the marine ships. Maybe you could do the same thing with weapons and swords and spears and stuff. So I guess we'll see. Dabi will be the third final villain of the series. He's definitely going to be up there. I want to see more Dabi fights. Kaido versus All for One. Who's the better villain? All right, now, so not who would win, who's the better villain? I feel like I have to say All for One. Because All for One is, I mean, Kaido is terrifying, but, like, All for One is menacing. You know, like, the way it's conveyed, like, just being in his presence and hearing his voice is enough for you to have a panic attack and puke. You know? Like, that's pretty damn menacing, the way that Horikoshi presented All for One. So, I would say All for One is maybe the better villain, but we still don't know a lot about Kaido's motivations yet. We know the basics, but we don't know his whole little story. We don't know all for Ones, to be fair, honestly. Let's see. Have I any plans for doing a podcast? Yes, I want to do a podcast for Bleach that a fan of mine once suggested I call Boncast, which I have that saved, the person that left me that comment, because I wanted to, when I finally end up doing the freaking Boncast, I want to mention who did it, and it was a fan by the name of The Meta. The Meta sent me that. And also, the other day, I saw a comment that was like, you need to do a One Piece themed podcast named Conversation Hockey. And I think I've seen that comment before. I don't know if that's I don't think that's the first time I saw someone suggest that name. But I have to say that is a very good name for a One Piece podcast. It is kind of the best name for a One Piece themed podcast. I don't know. It would have to be in a new setting where I can actually have a proper desk and a chair, and I can get like proper soundboard equipment and webcams set up. And this is why whenever I get a house, I want to have like a big open space in the house, like a big living room or like a finished basement would be perfect, where I could like arrange things in a big space, because there's just no room for that in this house. I really only have this room and then the studio space, which sucks because it's basically like a closet. You know, that's why I'm trying to get something like that. These names are genius. I did not come up with a single one of them. That's why I'm not that clever. But Boncast and Conversation Hockey, I mean, come on now. I mean, those are some top level names there. Let's see. I'm a Grand Peace online YouTuber, and I was wondering if you ever played the game again. I liked it enough. I don't know if I'll get into it. Gaming is like with manga with me. I'll play like a little bit of it and then go away forever and then maybe get back into it again. I was like that with Fortnite. I played Fortnite. I was obsessed with Fortnite for like 3-4 months back in 2018, and I kind of just started getting back into it a couple months ago. I'm kind of getting off of it again. But I'm like that with games, so I don't know. Law teleports Hera and Prometheus away from Big Mom and Hera. Wait. Law teleports Hera and Prometheus away from Big Mom. And then Hera and Prometheus end up in front of Nami, who uses her knowledge to beat them. Hera eats Prometheus, and Nami beats her, and then Zeus eats her. Okay, I see where you're going with that. That's a little bit complicated, but I see where you're going. Basically, Nami ends up with all four of Big Mom's homies at once. Well, maybe not Napoleon. Screw it, she gets Napoleon too. I see where you're going with that. I think just having Zeus alone in the new Climb Attack form, I think is enough of a power-up for her. I think she can make that work and learn how to fight with it, and that would be her big power-up for going into the final part of this story. I think that's good enough. Talk No Jutsu podcast for Naruto. That would be a good one. Definitely my hero, but I would love an update on Black Clover videos now that you've also gotten to do a Noct video. Yes, I do have to do the Noct video as well, man. I get reminded of that a lot. Are you sponsored by the game The Ant Underground Kingdom? Is that a real game? Is that like Raid Shadow Legends except with ants? No, I'm not. If I am sponsored by them, I am doing a horrible job to promote the game. Oh my god. And the other day, I was at a friend's place, and I'm on my phone, and somebody tweeted at me. I guess they Googled my net worth or whatever, like Tekking101 net worth, and it came up like some absurd number, like $1.5 million. And I'm like, shit, I didn't know that. I do not have $1.5 million. That would still, wow, I'm still living in my parents' house. That would have made finding a house so much easier if I had $1.5 million. Damn. You know? Yeah. Nah. Hello from Arkansas. I watch your videos all the time. I've been following you for around 2 years now. You've become my favorite YouTuber. Thank you, Kyler. Thank you. Thanks for the 10 SSJ. You didn't send a message, but thanks for the $10. When Oda said the next Straw Hat was going to be an old enemy of theirs, do you think he meant someone in their 60s or through the 90s? Like like an actual old man. Well, William has pretty much killed all the old men on the Grand Line at this point, so there's nobody of that age that's even still around. But no, I think he meant like old enemy, like somebody that the Straw Hats have fought before. Maybe it's Kuro. I don't know. It's Don. No, it's Gene. Gene's gonna come back and join the Straw Hats. Let's see. Answered that one before. Kaido might lose an eye fighting Yamato. I think Kaido was inspired off of the 1979 movie Taro the Dragon Boy, Blue Dragon blowing up mountain Oda was 4. Maybe. I mean, Oda takes a lot of references from old Japanese film, even like well before his time. He takes references to that stuff, and there's a lot of samurai movie references, like Kurosawa and other, famous samurai, movie directors and stuff, introduced in Wano, obviously. So maybe there might be a reference to that. You could definitely picture Kaido with an eye patch. Picture Kaido with an eye patch. It fits, right? Yeah. Will you ever talk about Fooly Cooly again? I do want to. Ever since Fooly Cooly Progressive and Alternate came out. That was already like 3 years ago already, God. But I do want to talk about that again because it is my favorite anime of all time. Let's see. I answered that. I haven't seen Eternity. I still haven't gotten a chance to play D&D, but I made some character sheets. How did these sound? A Goblin Cleric Paladin, a Human Barbarian Monk, a Triton Bard, and a Lizard Folk Assassin. Those all sound good, man. Those all sound good. Sometimes I'll just sit around and make NPC character sheets because you can just download the character sheet like as a PDF and you just fill it all in. And there's programs and stuff that generate NPCs and stuff for you. So sometime when I'm just, it's like the weather is shitty outside and I got nothing else to do. It's like I'll just sit in here and I'll come up with clever NPCs and stuff for the for a session that I've never played yet. But it's good to be prepared. I don't know if I have to go back and check, Norman, if Kuro appears at Dressrosa. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I found your channel through the One Piece Virgin podcast. Do you think Kaido's design is based on Danny Trejo? I don't think it's based on Danny Trejo, although I saw an awesome picture of Danny yesterday on Facebook where it was just Danny Trejo chilling out in a pool with like being fed grapes, and the caption was like, I wish I could be like as zen or as chill as Danny Trejo is right now in the pool being fed grapes, because he just looked like, this was his life. I first probably saw Danny Trejo when I saw Spy Kids. Remember Spy Kids? Yeah. The worst anime I've ever watched. So, this isn't the worst. But if you want to know an anime that I started watching that I couldn't even really make it through, Dot Hack, but I don't think it was like one of the first there was a bunch of different Dot Hacks, and I just didn't like the one series I was watching. I don't even remember which one it was called. I just remembered I watched like one episode. I like, see if this is any good, and I watched like 10 minutes of it, and I'm like, I don't like this, and I just turned it off. Not saying it's bad, it's just it wasn't for me, and I don't even remember what it was called. I know it was Dot Hack, but there's like a million different versions of Dot Hack. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to be finishing the Akatsuki series. If I was going to write my own light novel, what would it be about? I have a D&D campaign I made like a whole map for, so it would probably be about that. Probably would have to change some of the islands around, though, because it's a D&D thing. So I took a lot of islands from like RuneScape and like other fiction and stuff. I've only seen a little bit of Rurouni Kenshin when I was a kid, like when it was on Toonami back in the day. Haven't watched a lot of it. Roger likes Dot Hack, doesn't he? I don't know. Maybe I can ask him, like, hey man, if I was gonna get into Dot Hack, where do I start? Because I like Sword Art. At least I like the premise of Sword Art. I'm not a huge fan of the characters, but I like the premise of Sword Art Online, and that's kind of what Dot Hack is. So, yeah. I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah, we're getting here. Why don't you move to Texas, where housing is cheap? Like I said, I thought about moving out of state, but if I did that, I'd be saying goodbye to, like, all of my family and, like, all of my friends And I just don't want to do that. Maybe at some point, maybe later on in my life, 20 years from now or something, I don't even know if I'll still be doing YouTube, but if I am, or something comes up and it's like, oh, you got to move to the city, or you freaking Oregon or something, or Texas. I'm like, I don't know. Sure. But for right now, I'm trying to find a place that I could see myself living in for the rest of my life, if it might come to that. Let's see. I think I answered all of these. If you ever need inspiration to read Jujutsu Kaisen, just know the author was inspired by Kubo, and they've even had an art swap where he drew Mayuri. Oh, sweet. Yeah, I know Jujutsu Kaisen is amazing. Like, I hear a lot of people saying, oh, it's amazing, I would like it. I'm sure I would like it. It's just finding the time to sit down and reading through, like Chainsaw Man. People were recommending Chainsaw Man to me for years and years before I finally sat down and read the whole thing in a single night. And that was only like 80 chapters at that point. Jujutsu Kaisen is like 200, so that would be a bit of a read. I wouldn't be able to knock that out in a single evening. It would take a little bit, but yeah, I need to watch it. Let's see, Antfax. I gave out Antfax. The D&D you guys do is incredible. Why do you feel impulses to kill elderly men? Though, laughing my ass off, do you wish your devil fruit would have been different? No, I wish the devil fruit idea the Rustage gave is perfect. It's a perfect idea. As for William killing old men, I should elaborate on that. That was not an intended basis for the character. I wasn't coming up with the character like, well, his flaw is he's gonna kill old people. No, it was that second episode where I killed that old guy, and it just became a running gag. And then, like, after I killed that one old dude, I think it just established, like, wow, William just kills every old guy he runs across. And I'm like, all right, I guess this is my character trait now, because it's D&D, and you just roll with it a lot of times. And it's just like, all right, William is the brutal destroyer and killer of all old people across the Grand Line. You know, that's funnier, so I'll do it. There you go. But it was not something that was planned, certainly. Do you think the world government will be destroyed by the end of the story? Not the world government as a structure, but the Tenryubito system will be, yes. What group of Bleach characters are you going to do next? I might not do Bleach characters right away. I think I'm going to focus maybe on Black Clover. Maybe I'll do Nox, and then maybe I'll do the Magic Knight Captains. Maybe something like that. And then we're getting back into the questions I already answered. So I think that's that. Okay. So, let me go through the regular chat a little bit here, but we'll probably be ending this soon. It's an hour and 37 minutes, so a little bit over. That's fine. Yeah. I'm going out to dinner later, actually, with my uncles. They're coming into town. Well, my one uncle's coming into town, and then we're going to go out to eat with my grandfather for Father's Day weekend. So that should be fun. And I'm going to go out with my dad tomorrow sometime for Father's Day. My dad's birthday is, it was last week, so it's usually like his birthday and Father's Day are so close together, I usually just give him one present for everything. One year it was even like the same day, but yeah. Let's see. What would you be your magic in Black Clover? I like Finral's magic because it's teleportation. I like electricity powers, so Lux powers would be great. I like Zora's magic with using the magic circles to like the trap magic to like bounce attacks back at double power, and then what Magna did in the last chapter too. So even if you have like fire magic, you could still make complicated spells like Magna did. So any element would work, yeah. Yeah, I remember that little story I told about the celestial beings and ruling galaxies. I remember that. Somebody even made like a brief manga about that, if I recall. Like for like one chapter. Oh yeah, I love the One Piece anime, of course. I mean, like, the One Piece anime goes in phases. I mean, there's phases where the animation's not that great. There's phases, especially during Dressrosa, where Dressrosa is actually dubbed in English right now, and you really notice that they had to do it because the manga was so close, but one episode might equal one chapter or even less. You can tell there's a lot of drawn-out stuff that happens. So there's ups and downs to it, but I like the anime. I think right now it's doing fine. Yeah. All of Wano, I think, has been perfect. It's been golden. Yeah. What would you do if you had a devil fruit? Oh, no, what would you do if you had a D&D fruit in real life? I would be scared shitless to roll the thing, because I would roll the thing and probably end up with something horrible. Although, did you see the last episode where, holy shit, William actually finally rolled the fruit he needed? I hope you enjoyed that moment, because that will probably be the single moment in the entire campaign where that actually happens, alright? We're 31 episodes in, and I've rolled that fruit probably dozens, maybe even over, maybe, I don't think maybe 100 times at this point, but definitely dozens and dozens of times, and that is the first time that has happened, and it will probably be the last, where I needed a fruit to decorate and paint a ship, and I got Gyola's art fruit. So that was the best moment. What are some of your favorite One Piece D&D moments? I have a few. Certainly the moment where, like, as for, like, moments with me, William's character, the moment where I destroyed the tower, and the moment where I stole Trevor's sword. If I had a moment to pick, that would be the one. The moment where William freaking dodges all 3 of Trevor's attacks. I think I took 1 hit. I dodged 3 of these insanely powerful strikes. He crit fails on the last one. I knock his sword out of his hand. I grab it with my luck, and then I spray salt in his fucking eyes to blind him. And I get his sword. That is probably my single, like, William's favorite moment in D&D. Let's see. I did get that collar fruit to turn the tides against ours, and that was a good moment too. That whole arc was just insane for William. Like, I got the amount of luck I had there was ridiculous. Like it probably will never happen again. How is the map going? The map continues. Geography is forever. Happy birthday, Mio. And many more. I'll keep on making content. Jeez, don't stop making content. If you do, I'll die. I'm like, alright, I'll try. Oh, keep it up. Where can I watch your D&D? So, on, type in Rustage 2. Rustage has a second channel, and it has all the episodes on there in a playlist. Also, we stream every other Wednesday on his Twitch. I retweet them, and me, Lost Paws, Briggs, and Spooky do it every other Wednesday. It is this Wednesday coming up. So today is Saturday the 19th, last day of spring, Juneteenth. And the episode should be on the 23rd at 7. Stay tuned to Rustage's Twitter. I would suggest you follow him, because if anything comes up, which sometimes it does, people get sick, or sometimes people can't make it for whatever reason. If there's ever a delay, it'll always be posted. I'll try to retweet it if I can catch it in time, but usually it'll be posted by Rustage about that, so I would suggest following him on Twitter. Rustage is about to hit 1 million as well, so we'll be getting to that. And see where that goes with him, the ultimate anime rapper. Sometimes I feel Rustage really wants you to kill every old man you meet. I don't know. I feel like it's just a running gag for him. Like, I'm going to introduce an old man number 17 into One Piece D&D and see what he does next. Nah, I don't play Brave Souls. I've never played the Yakuza games. Yes, it was confirmed Zoro has conquerors. So that theme for... Okay, is it pronounced Herald Valkyrie? I always think it's Herald, like a herald, of like G is pronounced H, but I think it's Gerard. Gerard Valkyrie, Gerald Valkyrie, Herald Valkyrie, Gerard Valkyrie, I don't know. Sternritter M. The name of that theme, I don't remember where I got it. The theme that you're thinking of, it's called Approaching Apocalypse. At least that's how I have it on my computer. This is it. Which is an amazing theme, but I do not for the life of me remember where I got it. I don't remember if it's like I got it off of YouTube, like, because YouTube has the audio library, but it's because it's not there anymore, but sometimes they take music off of there. It could have been something I found somewhere else and just titled it that because it sounds cool. You know, that might not be the actual name of it. I don't know. Yeah. I am 28. I'm getting old myself. Yeah. That was very terrifying. Yeah, also it was doubled because I had the audio open from both channels, but that's a theme. But yeah, what do you think of Naruto's Baryon mode? That's a big Boruto spoiler right there. I was born on Father's Day. Nice. Okay, well, I'm gonna get going now, because I have to get ready to get going to dinner later. But thanks to everybody that showed up. Thanks to everybody. Yeah, I know. I'm 28 and I don't look that. I get that often. It helps I don't smoke or drink, so it never really comes up too often there. But at any rate, thanks for watching the stream, everybody. Tomorrow is Sunday. There's no One Piece chapter, so no review. I mean, I could review the chapter, but there's no chapter. Hey, everybody, One Piece chapter 1017 review, but there's no chapter, so I'm just gonna shotgun it, I guess. All right, so I could do that, but okay. Okay, if I did that, I could not title the video Chapter 1017 review. That would be the biggest troll maneuver. I could not do that. I would say Tekking's chapter review or something like that. But yeah, that chapter was released like 3 months ago. It's a spoiler. Hell, I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Tomorrow might be My Hero, might be Dr. Stone, or I haven't read the spoilers for Black Clover, so I don't know. Black Clover might be a really good chapter tomorrow. I don't know. So we'll see. Whichever one, sparks my interest the most, I'll talk about. Thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Tekking and Barry. Oh, Barry was here the whole time. I don't think I acknowledged you a single time, Barry. Well, thanks for stopping by.